Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. I talk a lot about Stephen King books as well as other books as well. I'm on a mission to read everything that Stephen King has ever published in order. And this is what these videos are for. This is just about me uploading my thoughts and feelings about each book in order, so you guys know what I think of them, and hopefully it will encourage you whether you want to read it or not. Hopefully you do. So yeah, I nearly wasn't going to do this video as I felt a little bit down today when I went out for my walk this morning about quarantine and the state of the about our lives in general, or my life in general, and not being able to do all the things that I want to do. But I thought I would just do this video because I enjoy it. I thank you so much for welcoming me to the booktubing community. Everybody that's been commenting on my videos has been super duper nice, and all my subscribers, I'm really happy. But I'll give a massive shout out right at the end. So the book I'm going to be reviewing is the next one. The last book I read and reviewed on this channel was Rage by Richard Buckman, which is Stephen King's pseudonym. And the one after that, it was supposed to be the cut version of The Stands. I've read the uncut version of it, but I'm planning to read the cut version soon this year. But the next one, the book I'm going to be reviewing today, as you can probably see from the thumbnail, is Night Shift by Stephen King, obviously. This is Stephen King's first short story collection, and if you're not sure whether you want to commit to reading a full novel, and you want to try to read something a bit shorter, this is a brilliant place for anyone that's new to King to start with, as it has numerous stories in this that are very short. Anyone can read one of these stories in a day. So the stories in this were actually published separately along Stephen King's career from the years 1968 to 1977. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes on my bed. And with the oldest being Strawberry Fields, or Strawberry Springs. Why do I call it Strawberry Fields? Strawberry Springs, which was published in 1968. But the overall book, Night Shift, was published in February of 1978. It's had numerous film adaptations based on it, some which are Children of the Corn, Cat's Eyes, which is from the adaptations, Critters Inc. and The Ledge, Maximum Overdrive, which I have got here. Brilliant movie, which is the only movie that was directed by King. Fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go and get it. It's fantastic. Trust me, it'll definitely cheer you up in this time that we're currently in. Has Graveyard Shift, which I haven't seen, Lawnmower Man, which I saw a while ago, and The Mangler, which I need to watch. I do have two versions of this book. This is the version that I read. I've only read this once. Secondhand book, brilliant. Then the second version I've got is this version, which has the cover from the I Am the Doorway story. So yeah. Before I get started, I just want to say that this is going to be a spoiler-free review, and this is going to be my thoughts and opinions towards this book. Let me just put this down. So keep that in mind, guys. These are going to be my thoughts and opinions towards this book going forward. So yeah. So the stories in this, I'll just go through them one at a time. You got Jerusalem's Lot, which is a kind of a sequel to Salem's Lot. A really good story. You don't really have to read Salem's Lot in order to understand it, but it does help. You got a Graveyard Shift, which sorry guys, I'm just reading my notes. You got Graveyard Shift, which is about a janitor who goes into a basement, and he is trying to get rid of this rat infestation in the cellar of where he works, and it is kind of interesting. Stephen King has a phobia about rats and also flying as well, so it's kind of interesting. I'm actually kind of curious about what the story of rats in his new If It Bleeds book is actually like. I need to get around to that. Interesting. So anyway, we got the next one. The next one, which is Night Surf, which is a spin-off story to The Stands, which you see a group of young people on a beach that find a body that is dying of Captain Trips, which is the virus from The Stands. It has nothing to do with The Stands story or the characters or even Randall Flagg or Mother Abigail. You don't have to read The Stand in order to understand what Night Surf is about. But again, it does help. And that's the only story in this book that I'm aware of that has connections to the Dark Tower. So that's interesting. You got I Am the Doorway, which, as I mentioned, this cover is actually based on. It is about a astronaut who recalls his adventures in deep space, where when he comes back, he finds that he has all these mysterious eyes that are growing all over his body. So, yeah, very, very peculiar. And also sci-fi as well. Stephen King doesn't really do a lot of sci-fi, so it's really interesting to read his sci-fi work. You got The Mangler, which is about a possessed laundry press that about the giant machines that you can put sheets in and it presses it with all these giant rollers, and these people, it's implied that virgins get like killed in this mangler where they get crushed, and this mysterious machine is kind of possessed, kind of like Christine, but not really. And yeah, I'm trying to watch the adaptation. That's got Robert Englund, or the guy who played, I can't remember his name exactly, but he's the guy who played Freddy Krueger in the better Nightmare. The Nightmare on Elm Street films. I was actually going to say Nightmare Before Christmas for a minute. You got The Boogeyman, about a man who recalls a mysterious creature that comes out of his closet that kills his wife and kids. Interesting story. You got Grey Matter, about a father who has all this strange slime growing growing all over his body that makes him violent, and it brings out his violent tendencies and his violent emotions towards him and his son and people around him. So it was an interesting story, nothing special. They're all really short. You got Battlegrounds, about a man who opens a box that he gets from the post and it has all these little soldiers in it. I kind of thought them as the toy soldiers in Toy Story. That's how I saw them as. But yeah, they could be any toy soldier. Just think of anyone, and that's what they are. And they come and they come to life and they battle each other and they attack the man. They're only small, so yeah. Again, it was nothing special, but it was interesting. These stories are kind of like hit and miss. It's kind of like a box of chocolates with these short story collections. Some of the stories you're going to like better than others. But that's how it is, really. Yeah. Moving on, you got Trucks, which is based on this masterpiece of a movie. Trucks is about all these mysterious, trucks that come to life and try to take over humanity and try to kill humans. Obviously, the film goes into a lot more detail than the short story collection. And to be fair, I prefer this, Maximum Overdrive movie to the novel. To the short story. But you can read them. But you can watch this and read the short story, or read the short story and watch this. You can do it in any order. Sometimes they come back about a man who, as a kid, he actually witnessed his kid brother getting killed by this gang of teenage boys, and as he grows up into a teacher, he finds that these kids are in his classroom, the same kids that killed his kid brother. And they haven't aged at all. Really interesting. They've done a film about it. which was on Netflix, but it wasn't. But it's not on Netflix now, which I'm kind of ashamed. Which I'm kind of sad about. We've got Strawberry Fields, which, as I said, which is the oldest story in this book collection, which is not really anything spectacular. It's about a killer on this campus that goes around murdering all these students, and these students are sitting around discussing, oh, you know, these events that happened, or do you remember this happened, or do you remember when the killer done that, and all this stuff. It does get into a lot of detail with all the, you know, murders and all that, with all the blood and guts and all that stuff. But again, it's a harmless story. The allege about a man who is forced against his will to walk around a building which is on, and he's actually walking on a ledge, and he's trying not to actually fall down, and he's doing this against his will because someone's actually making him do it. I think it's a way of them bribing this man. It's really good. It's really atmospheric. It's probably one of my favorite stories in the book, or probably in my top 5 stories in this book collection. So yeah, really good. You do feel like you're on that ledge with this guy. The Lawnmower Man. As far as I'm aware of, this isn't at all like the movie. It's about a strange man that comes along and has this mysterious lawnmower, and he gets on his hands and knees. I'm pretty sure he's naked as well, and he eats all this cut grass that is cut by this mysterious lawnmower machine. And he even eats a mole. So if you're upset, you know, like a mole, you know, your animal. So if you're upset about animal cruelty, I would probably give it a miss. It's really a weird story, but again, it's really interesting. I got Quitters Inc. about a man who finds a company that helps with addiction, whether it's smoking or reading too many Stephen King books. And the way that this company like operates is that if you cheats with your addiction, like if you smoke while you're not supposed to, it becomes, you know, you do have deadly consequences, like some people in your family get killed or stuff like that. So it's really, really interesting and really brutal. Children of the Corn. Do I really have to say what that is about? About a couple who go and find this town that's abandoned, where all these kids that have killed all their parents and are worshipping this mysterious entity that is in this cornfield. It's really good. A lot different than the movie. I think I would prefer this version slightly more than the movie itself. But yeah, I mean, I would actually read the story first. If you haven't watched the film, read the story first and then watch the movie, the first one, not any of the sequels. Although the trilogy is kind of okay. But yeah, really interesting story. Again, probably one of my favorites in the collection. You got the last rung on the ladder. About a man who recalls an event that where him and his kid sister was walking up and down this ladder in a barn, and how she fell, and I think he kind of saved her life, and when he grew up. I mean, when they all grew up, he kind of recalled this story. It's an okay story as far as I can actually remember. The Man Who Loved Flowers, really weird. About a man who goes around with a bunch of flowers and presents them to numerous women and females. And he's actually going around trying to give these flowers to a mysterious woman called Norma. We never know who Norma is, but there are aspects of this maybe mental health problems, but it's short and sweet. It's harmless. Got One for the Road, which is another spin-off to Salem's Lot. About a man who goes into a bar and says, my wife and my kid are actually trapped in Salem's Lot, and they do bring up vampires. So this is after the events of Salem's Lot, and how about how this father and this group of guys from this bar, go into Salem's Lot, and try to rescue this man's family from these vampires. It's good. I mean, I personally would actually read Salem's Lot before you read One for the Road and Jerusalem's Lot. But you can read them separately, but it's better if you start off with the Salem's Lot novel first. And then you have the last story in the collection, probably the most hard-hitting for me. It's about a son who actually visits his mother in a hospital, and she's dying, and he's trying to come to the conclusion to whether he should assist his mother in suicide. As my mum is currently in hospital. She's actually fine. It's actually not about coronavirus, so don't worry about that. She's been in there for a while and she's fine. So yeah, but it's really hard hitting as well, and yeah. But yeah, I mean that's all the stories from Night Shift. What I liked about it, I mean my dislikes and likes about it. My likes about it were the stories, like. Some of the stories like Jerusalem's Lot, Night's Earth, I Am the Doorway, Trucks, Sometimes They Come Back, The Ledge, Children of the Corn, Lost Running on the Ladder. Oh no, wait, not Lost Running on the Ladder. One for the Road, rather. Are actually some of my best stories. You do have numerous stories in this that I don't really like. But they're so far and far between. I mean, there's only probably about 2 or 3 in this book collection that I don't really care much for. But that's my own personal opinion. Yeah. Closing thoughts. Let me know how I did in this video. Let me know what you thought of my thumbnail that I created. And if you like this way for me actually recording my videos. I am trying with this channel. So I'm trying to do different things. I am going to be customing my thumbnails, and I will be editing videos. Maybe at the end of the month to next month, but I've got a program on my phone, and I am trying to get into editing my videos rather than doing them in one massive go like I've just done now. So also I just want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers called Mia Watches. Mia, M-A-I Watches. Go to her channel, and she does loads of videos about about all these movies that she likes. She's actually really good. I'm actually a massive supporter of her channel. So give her a watch, and give her channel a go. I actually really like it. So yeah. So what I rate the book overall is a 4 stars out of 5. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more content from me or watch some of my other content that's on my my channel right now. I've got loads of other videos. And stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. I'll see you on my next video, guys. Sorry about the length. Bye.